when you look at the Brooklyn scenario and you go, why would you have done this? It's because he did what he did in Golden State, and more people still were pissed at him and hated him.
Yeah.
So he felt like he actually was doing his own thing.
That's 100% why he did it.
Yeah.
He wanted his own place. Right. He wanted to be the best guy in a title team in a situation that he created advantageously to him.
I mean, we've been over all this stuff, so I don't want to belabor it, but did you actually think you were going to go to that Golden State team after what they did in 15 and 16? And everyone's be like, yeah, this is awesome. But you
got to go back to where he was in 16, what his options were, which were basically Boston, a Knicks dumpster fire, a Lakers dumpster fire, or Golden State. And the chance, I think he wanted to get so badly away from Westbrook.
Yep.
And just try a new city and try a new version of whatever life he wanted. I think he wanted to go to the Bay Area. They had a whole business stuff they were trying to figure out. And it made sense. I don't think he ever intended to be there more than 3 or 4 years. I think what changed with him was after that first year when he went toe-to-toe with LeBron, he won the Finals MVP, and then it was still Curry's team. And I think once that happened, the breadcrumbs were being laid to I have to leave and I have to go somewhere else. But I still feel like this is one of the great what ifs. I remember I did my what ifs chapter in 2009 in my book, and I did like the 33 biggest what ifs in history. I think this is now like a top 10 what if for me in the history of the league. What if Draymond doesn't get suspended before Game 5?
Remember, Draymond Green is 1 flagrant foul and 2 technicals away from being suspended.
There's just so many directions that we go in because of that one thing. Because I think the Warriors, go back and watch Game 4 on YouTube. That series was done. They won in Cleveland. They're going to win in Game 5. The momentum of it flipped. Bogut gets hurt. All of these different things happen. Kyrie and LeBron go off. But if he doesn't get suspended, they win Game 5. He can't go there. And if he can't go there, either he re-ups with OKC for 1 more year, or he maybe goes to Boston. That's a huge what if. Then Kyrie never makes that shot. And Kyrie's been dining on that shot now for 6 years. It's like those 3 games that he had and that big shot he's made makes him a little bit immune to criticism. It's like, well, he hit the game-winning shot in the finals over Steph Curry, 45 in Game 5. So people point to that, and it becomes much harder to kind of point out all the stuff you would point out if you're trying to criticize Kyrie. But you have that side. You have the whole, what do the Warriors look like the rest of the decade, and on and on. There's just, I think, so many ramifications just from that one suspension that we'll be looking back at it 20 years and be like, holy shit, look at all these things that happened from that.
I will never be convinced, and I know he said it himself, that once they blew the 3-1 lead, that he was talking to, was it Rich, where he was like, hey, we can do this. Like, we could actually potentially do this.
Yeah.
I think those conversations, the tea leaves, the stuff that's happening since the very beginning of the year. And then remember, Woj even had the report on, I think, in February of that year.
He did.
I will never be convinced that he only went there because they blew the 3-1 lead. And I know all the evidence and what he said publicly.
That which team, the OKC blew the 3-1 or Golden State? Because you needed both of those things, right? You needed the Klay Thompson game first,
right?
And then you needed the
Golden
finals.
State. Yeah. I'm talking about Golden State because, and I know there's very little evidence that suggests that I'd be right about this because it's what happened. It's everything you just said. And then I've seen, he was in some panel somewhere and he brought it up and he was like, oh, as soon as it happened, I started realizing like, oh, maybe I can do this because if they'd won, I'd not been able to go. I don't know. There's part of me that still thinks maybe he would have gone even if they had beat the Cavs at 16.
Yeah, like I'm joining a dynasty. This is the logical next move. This isn't just a basketball move. It's a business move. Yeah, I maybe.
Tech. I love Silicon Valley on HBO.
Great show. Really funny. A lot of laughs. Yeah, I think part of the thing with Durant in 2016 was he didn't have really any great options. It was because the Knicks and the Lakers and the Nets, the 2 big cities we have, were in such a train wreck of a basketball situation. The Clippers didn't have the cap space for him. And it was just kind of, all of a sudden it's like, Draymond's texting him. Curry's texting him.
Look, and just think, 5-6 years later, you don't even need to do it. You take the max from OKC, you don't cost yourself $1, and then you lose in 17 with Westbrook somewhere, and then you go, hey, guess what? Now I want out.
I think that's how badly he wanted out. Well, then the other thing is he did a 5-year extension instead of 4 with OKC. And really, he should have been a free agent in 2015. I think they were better. If you go back, I think they were better options in 2015. So,
and the cap spiking and all that, which is the
cap
only reason they were
spikes
able
really
to
helped the whole
do it.
thing.